average speed. And now we will understand what is the speed with direction. So when we are talking about speed without direction, then it is simply called average speed. But when we talk about speed with direction, then it is different. So that speed with direction is called velocity. The rate of motion of an object can be if we specify the direction. So when the speed is normal, then it is a normal speed. There are two concepts, scalar quantities and vector quantities. So scalar and vector is in the higher class, but for the simple purpose we can say velocity. This is an important concept which starts from the next part, which is called speed with direction. So when the speed is having a direction, then it is called velocity. And if the velocity, when the object is moving in a straight line at a different speed, if the velocity is fixed, then it is a constant velocity. But if the velocity changes, then we call it a variable velocity or variable speed. We can express this in the form of average. And like speed was also average, velocity is also called average velocity. Now there are two concepts, one is average speed and one is average velocity. The average speed was total distance upon total time, but average velocity is different. Average is not total velocity upon total time. Average velocity is whatever is the velocity of the body in the beginning and the final, we find the median of average of that. So when you this is mathematically calculated for finding the average velocity of a body. And there are numericals and activity mentioned here. And the activity is you have to find average velocity. You can calculate your average velocity of moving from one place to another. And this is explained. It is better understood if we see an example here. Distinguish between speed and velocity. So what is the difference between speed and velocity? Speed is, just now we had read, speed has no direction, velocity has direction. So speed has no direction, velocity has direction. One is a scalar quantity and one is a vector quantity. Under what conditions is the magnitude of average velocity equal to its average speed? When can the average velocity of an object become equal to its average speed? When the average speed, because both of them are different formula. So when average velocity, we have seen that it is initial velocity and final, and the average speed is equal to total distance upon total time. So when can this be same? When, under what conditions is the magnitude of average velocity equal to average speed? Average velocity is calculated by this formula and average speed is calculated by this formula. So under when can this answer be same? So it depends upon the number. It depends upon a time. It depends upon the number when you will put it. So average of the two, when the total distance and the initial velocity and the final velocity. So first we have to find velocity. For finding average of the velocity, you will find out what is the velocity, and for finding average speed you need distance upon time. So if you know the average speed, then you should know distance upon time, but when you find average velocity, then you need these two things. There is an example. With this example the things will be clear. The odometer of a car reads 2000 km at the start and 2400 km at the end. So this is the number which is given to us in this question, and in this question if we simplify, the odometer is the speedometer of a car. It shows 2000 meter. Now 2000 meter is what? It is distance. So if I say that the distance is given